Kalonzo Musyoka, when Raila Odinga had actually crossed over and joined William Ruto, Kalonzo says he's now the one who can liberate the country. It's Kalonzo actually represent the face of the true progressives, or Kalonzo actually is a confessed false prophet who actually is working with the government. I'm Professor Fred Ogola. I'm the leader of Concerned Citizens Movement. I'm an economist and a governance expert. Kenyans, let me warn you of the existence of false prophets. It creates a serious existential risk. Let us start from the very independence. I like my brother, the, the Secretary General of the Mau Mau veterans. He has written a book on the betrayal of the Mau Mau. And he has actually highlighted what we're seeing now, because that book will remain eternally relevant. Because when guys were fighting for independence, we had the real freedom fighters, the like of Dedan Kimathi. But also we had those we call home guards, those who are collaborating with the colonial masters. So when it comes to the time when power was being taken, power did not go in the hands of the freedom fighters, the people who want to liberate Kenya, the progressives. Power went into the house guards, the collaborators. And immediately they launched neocolonialism. That's why you see how our economy is being managed. It's all about respecting the foreign, the colonial masters. And it has really plunged Kenya into the problems we have now. Now, after that, we had the second liberation. We had so many people who emerged. You could call them the likes of Raila Odinga. There were people like Shikuku. There are people like Matiba. There were so many people who had Bilgad Kagi at the time, the likes of Tom Mboya, Alwyn Skodek. So many people emerged to try to liberate Kenya for the second time. But again, the dust, the dice was casted and put on the hands of the false prophets. You see, now Raila Odinga was actually given the title of the people's president. His father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, was Kenyatta's government. Kenyatta was actually a home guard. Kenyatta was not a freedom fighter. Was Raila Odinga's father, Jaramogi, a house guard, or he was actually a freedom fighter? The real freedom fighters were left aside. That's why Mau Mau has never been compensated. The people who fought for the land for Mau Mau, they were never even given the land they fought for, the land they died for, the land their ancestors died for. Some of the Mau Mau fighters died very, very poor. They died in very, very desperate situations because the real Mau Mau fighters did not take over power. And I can see that this is what happened in the second liberation. Even when Kibaki took over power, there are people who thought they were going to be progressives, the likes of Willy Mutunga, the likes of Gidongo. They were given positions in government. Now they kill civil society and it just fizzles out. Now we have this situation whereby we are in a serious situation. So realize that we are always going for the false prophets. Now, the Gen Z revolution, which I can say with all honesty that I fought for personally, we began these things in 2022. We went on TV. We did a lot of civic education. We created a lot of public anger, the rage. And of course, when the Gen Z revolution was at its own peak, it also gave birth to some prophets. And some of those prophets are actually false prophets. And why I'm saying about this is the defining moment. Are we going for the real progressives, or we are going to pick again the false prophets? You saw, for example, the emergence of the Kalonzo Musyoka when Raila Odinga had actually crossed over and joined William Ruto. Kalonzo says he's now the one who can liberate the country. It's Kalonzo actually represent the face of the true progressives, or Kalonzo actually is a confessed false prophet who actually is working with the government. When I was in a same ceremony with Kalonzo in Ketengela, Kalonzo arrived in his private car, driven by a GSU, and his other chase car with an alarm. Is a government vehicle. And Kalonzo being guarded by government security. Of course, he's entitled security, but is he in government or not? Because if he is in opposition and is running Wiper, he's a Wiper leader. So are all political party leaders having the same status like him? If he's a Wiper leader and therefore he needs to have this, then all party leaders need to get that same status. But if he's there as the former vice president because of retirement, then he needs to retire from politics and enjoy those things when he's out of retirement. So these are state projects which are false projects which can be created. Now we've had the issue of Morara Kebaso. We had about the problems of the issues of Kasmel Makaure. We have seen emergence of some people who look at true progressives. I don't want to criticize them because they are my fellow progressives. But I want us to go through it because even Fred Ogola, who is speaking to you, Wakino, Kiom Tata, who are fighting, let us all put these people to the test because Kenyans, we need to do proper due diligence. We have always jumped on people thinking they are saviors, but actually they have been sent by our enemies to represent them and pretend that they are saviors. When you hear that umevaa ngozi ya kondoo, some people are sheep, are actually a wolf, whom our enemies have dressed them in a sheep's skin. So wanakuja ni kama they represent us, but actually they are representing our enemy. Let us do proper due diligence. And let me say the following. Let us put everybody to the proper test that they deserve. And let me just go to discuss what I saw in China. In China, when you want to take a bank loan, they check you from the beginning. Were you in a nursery school? Did you used to attend class? Did you attend all classes? Were you seen as a disciplined child or not? Did you do your assignments? Because they believe someone who used not to attend classes, let's say, straightforwardly, or were doing all his assignments, will not be able to pay a loan. They also check who was your teacher in primary school, who was your teacher in secondary school, who was your teacher in the university, how did you perform, who are your classmates, were you trusted by your classmates or not? If you do this proper due diligence, you'll find that you cannot be able to pick a false prophet and go with it. So let's talk about these true progressives. Who is Kalonzo Musyoka? Which nursery school did he go to? Which primary school? Which secondary school? Which university? Who are his classmates? Was he seen to be trustworthy? Can we trust him? Was he on the side of Kenyans or against Kenyans in all that journey he has made until now he wants to say he wants to be Kenyan president? Let's put Okiya Omtata in the same test. Where was he? Where has he been? What has he stand for? Has he had any stance contrary to the people's progressive mission? Let's put Morara there. Which primary school was Morara? Which secondary school? Which nursery? Which university? Did Morara graduate from which university? Who was his fellow graduates? Can we see a graduation photo? Did he graduate in KU, in JKUAT, Moi University? If he says he's an advocate, did he go to Kenya School of Law? When did he graduate for Kenya School of Law? Did he qualify even to be an advocate? If he says he's an advocate. So let's do that. Let's go to Kasmuel. Kasmuel says he was an alliance. Yes, most likely it's true. He says he was expelled from Alliance 3 times. Is it possible that Alliance can expel anybody 3 times? As far as I'm concerned, Alliance is so proud that once they expel you once, they won't come back. Fred Ogola, where did he go to school? He calls himself a professor. Well, which is the nursery school he went to? Which was the primary school? Which secondary school? Which university? Did he graduate? If he says he's a professor in what? Let us do everybody proper due diligence before we jump into them. Because when you just meet a woman in a bar and already you are saying you want to marry her, you have not checked which church he prays, who is his father, who is his mother, who is his aunt, whom does he relate to, whom does he know, who are his friends, who are her friends, where does she work, has she ever been known to stand for something? Is she motherly? Can she bring up children? Let's do proper due diligence, Kenyans. I am not criticizing anybody. I'm just telling Kenyans, do proper due diligence, even on everybody. Because there's a question we call, how do you know what you know? If you know that Fred Ogola is a professor, how do you know he's a professor? Is even a Kenyan. Sometimes you can be propagating Fred Ogola, but he may not even a Kenyan. Have you seen my ID? Am I a Kenyan? Where did I grow up? Who are my brothers and sisters? Who are my relatives? Who are my friends? Can we do this proper due diligence just before we jump into something? Because that's what happens. We knew very well that we just saw William Ruto. He says he's a hustler like us, and he was not a hustler. And we bought the narrative. Did we check where William Ruto went to school? Which primary school he went to? Secondary school. Did we check whether he was a good student? Did we check whether he had any criminal record? Did he ever steal anything? Because you cannot tell me you only begin stealing when you become president. If he was a thief, he must have stolen from primary school, from secondary school, and from university. You've heard about Gachagua. Who was Gachagua? Have we done a proper analysis? I'm hearing now people are saying that some people are saying now they want to take Babu Owino to be their leader. Who is Babu Owino? Let's analyze. Did he go to secondary school, primary school, university? In university, which kind of student was he? Miguna has said Babu Owino used to do mandamano to be given a grade by university students, university lecturers. Let us not believe Miguna. Let us believe on the truth. I've talked about ABC. Assume nothing.